curtains or blinds in the bathroom?
I don't know. Let's stop thinking about that.
OK. Seaside towns in the news this morning with the House of Lords report highlighting the issues some of them face.
Many are having to reinvent themselves to survive.
Well, one of those is Exmouth, where the designer Wayne Hemingway is involved in a revamp of the seafront. Wayne, great to have you with us this morning. Tell us about the work you've been doing. Good morning in Exmouth.
Yeah, so we've been working on a vision for just part of the seafront, the area that's stretching down from the Mare across what's called a leisure site. It's Queen's Drive. It's Queen's Drive space where the council have been doing some great kind of pop-up stuff over the last year or two.
Can good design and regeneration of an area completely transform a seaside town?
Well, design plays a big role, but it's not just design. It's kind of the narrative behind it and the values, and it's about a whole town understanding what a new generation wants from a British seaside, as well as the evolving tastes of the older generation. And the great thing about a British seaside town at the moment is that the new generations of millennials, which are kind of mainly under 36, is the kind of the cut-off point for that, and Gen Z, which is under 24. They're re-evaluating where they travel. So there are the two major things that they do when it comes to travel at the moment is they're re-looking at British travelling in Britain. There's a real love of exploring the place where they're from. They're certainly not travelling in the numbers that my generation did to Malaga, Torremolinos and Benidorm. That's completely out of fashion, as it should be, because it's pretty cheesy, those places, and travelling, for lying on a beach, is not the kind of lying on a beach in a place that's not got a lot of culture is not thankfully what a lot of young generation want to do. So they're re-evaluating what British seaside towns can stand for and what they can do. And there is, if a seaside town gets it right, they can absolutely boom. You only have to look at the changes that have gone on in places like Margate and New Brighton and Southwold. I could go on naming dozens and dozens. And closer to you, look at Lyme Regis. I've been travelling there since I've been very young, and it's moved with the times. It's got great shops. It's still packed. And it's not rocket science.
You shame me now because I'm 2 months younger than you, Wayne. And 2 weeks ago I was in Malaga. I am sorry. I hold my hands up. I apologise.
There's better things to support.
I wish I was with you in Exmouth.
The British seaside.
Well, Wayne, we can hear your passion for British seasides. And tell me if I'm wrong here, but you actually grew up in a seaside town, didn't you?
Yeah, so I was born in Morecambe and grew up to a certain age in Morecambe, and I've still got a lot of links with it. And also live by the sea now as well. So it's just always been part of my life, really.
I'd love to know how you got involved in this from the very outset. Was it something that was going through your mindset anyway? Did your agent come to you and said, this is interesting?
Why would I have an agent?
You do your own...
We're a design company, not a film star or a pop star. So we're a design company called Hemingway Design, and we concentrate on regeneration. And we only work in places that we think have got real potential. We only work on projects that can improve people's lives. Exmouth is just a wonder. I didn't know an awful lot about Exmouth. I'd been before, but when the team went, and it was mainly a young team at Hemingway Design, there were about 6 of us went the first time. We absolutely fell in love with it. And what's not to love, really? Amazing beaches, just a lovely location, close to a great city in Exeter, and Exeter is one of those few cities in the UK that people are talking about a lot. We've seen the success of Bristol and the growing success of Norwich, and Exeter is one of those towns that is bucking the trend of high streets doing terribly, and young people want to go to university there. So when that's in the hinterland, that can give the kind of the potential to boost Exmouth and to add to the mainly at the moment older generation that visit there. And then you've got importantly this catalyst that's starting right now, which is the water sports centre, which is going to be regionally, if not nationally, significant. It's sustainably designed. It's aiming at a growth area of British sport, which is water sports, which is a healthy thing to do and attracts all ages and families as well. So that's the kind of anchor tenant, if you must. And we're going to, what we're doing is kind of how can we build a theme around that supports family stuff going on the front, and also brings in the cricket club and the bowls club and the beautiful grass tennis courts, brings all that together and creates just a lovely place to visit for everybody, including looking at the food and drink on offer at the Harbour Cafe and how that can evolve. How the space that they've got there now, because they've already started doing great stuff, live streaming of opera, concerts, pop-up food events, at a brilliant kids' play area. It's on the move.
Well,
Exmouth on the move.
You just mentioned there about catering for all the different generations as well, and there will be people listening to the radio at the moment saying, actually, I quite like it as it is, and I don't like change. What would you say to them to reassure them? The
proof is in the pudding. The businesses are crying out for more visitors. It needs more businesses to start up there. The statistics are there. It's got, in terms of its demographic and the percentage of older people that live there, it's too imbalanced. You can't have that. If you look at statistics, the average age of when people start a business, you need people between the age of 26 and 29 going to a place and thinking, I'm going to have a go here, because they create employment. And if old people don't get that, then they need to start getting it.
It's brilliant to hear your enthusiasm, and thank you for taking an interest in our county and doing something that's so positive, as you indicated. There's a lot of negativity around, and you've brought a lot of positive thinking to us, and we thank you for that, Wayne.
Yeah, and you don't need to thank us. It's just such a lovely place to be, and we're on the whole 95%, just more than that, just getting positivity. Yeah. And there always will be negativity, but that's just human beings, and we just have to put up with that, don't we?
We do. Wayne Hemingway with us this morning. Thank you very much for your time. And Exmouth, changing for the better.
BBC Radio Devon.
Travel news.
I love the way that he reels off, and you can tell he's just not saying it for the effect purposes, the way that he's reeling off all the names of the businesses, the cafes and so forth.
And he's a
really
seaside boy. He said
seaside boy.
He grew up in the seaside, so we'll keep tabs on this. At the 8:38